Welcome to another video. Here's another question on circular functions and trigonometry. This is lesson 4. Okay, so we have a bird leaves a net n and flies 800 meters on a bearing of 132 degrees to a tree T. Okay, it then leaves T and flies 650 meters on a bearing of 209 degrees to a pylon P, assuming that N, T, and P are the same height above the ground. So we're asked to calculate the distance and also the bearing on which the bird must fly in order to return directly from P to N. So first thing first is to draw the diagram. So we start with N. Okay, so N is on a bearing of, so N flies 800 meters to T. This is 90. This will be so 32 degrees. That's 132 degrees. That will be 40 degrees. Okay, so all the angles from N is now 132 degrees. So this comes here. So this is time. This will be 42 degrees as well, alternate angle. So this will be T. All right. So to a tree T, it then leaves T and flies 650. Okay, on a bearing of 209. This will be 180. 209. That will be 29. Okay. So this is 29. So that's 29. Okay. So this is not drawn to scale. So we know that NT is 800 meters. Okay. So this is 650 meters, which is in the question. Okay. Now this is 42. This is 90. This is 90. And this is 29. Okay. So let's get what angle will be between, the west and this south. Okay, this direction. So that should be 90 minus 29. Okay, that will be 61. So this is 61 degrees. So when we add 61 to 42, okay, that will be 103 degrees. Okay, so that's NT. Then also we have T. This will be P. Okay, this is P. So we know that TP is 650 meters. 650 meters. Okay. So we are asked to calculate the distance and the bearing. So to calculate the distance and bearing, so we're applying the cosine rule. We want to know what is Pn. What is distance Pn? All right. So to calculate Pn, we have applying the cosine rule. Let's apply the cosine rule. So using the cosine rule, so we know that Pn squared will be equals to, we have Nt squared plus Tp squared negative 2Nt Pt. Okay, Pt or Tp rather, Tp. Then cos, the angle now becomes 103 degrees. Okay. All right, so that means that we have Pn squared equals to 800 squared. That will be 650 squared. Then negative 2 times 800. Then multiply by 650 plus 103 degrees. Okay, so for 800 squared is, so we have Pn squared equals to 640,000 plus 650 squared. That will be 4,225,500. Then negative. So what is 1,600? Because 2 times 800, that's 1,600. 1,600 multiplied by 650. That will be 104. That will be 1,040,000. Okay, so we have 104. 0, 0, 0, 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then cos 103. All right, so that will be negative 0.22495. So when that is multiplied by 104,000,000, okay, so that will be, so we have Pn squared to be equals to, so this will be positive, okay, that will be plus 233,949.1. So 64000, okay, plus 422500. That will be 106,500. So when that is added to 233,949.1, then that will be Pn squared equals to 129,644,9.1. So that Pn will be equals to the square root of 129,644,9.1. So the square root of 129,644,9.1. That will be Pn will be equals to 13113, okay, 1138.6. So from here we can say that Pn is approximately 1139 meters. So this is the value of Pn. So distance Pn is 193. Okay, that's it. Now we want to find out the bearing on which the bird must fly in order to return directly to from P to N. So we know that the bearing from N to P is 100, and now that means we want to know the bearing from N to P, because this will be, the direction will be towards the north direction. Okay, so okay, now second question, okay, to calculate the bearing, okay, the bearing, okay, from P to N. So first of all, let's use sine rule, okay, from P to N, okay, from P to N. So we want to know this angle, that's the bearing from P to N. So it means we need to first use sine rule. We apply sine rule. Okay, applying the sine rule, we know that, so if we take this to be TPN, okay, we know that sine TPN divided by this angle, this is opposite this angle, so divided by NT, okay, NT equals to, then also we have sine NTP, divided by, now we have PN, the one we just calculated, so PN. So sine TPN will be equals to NT multiplied by sine NTP, okay, divided by what? Divided by PN. So that sine TPN can be equals to, now NT is 800, then multiply by sine NTP, that's NTP is 103, divided by PN. So PN is what we calculated here to be 1139 meters. Oh, that's it. Okay, what is 800 sine 103? So that will be 779.496 divided by 1139. So if you divide that by 1139, of course that will be equals to 0.68444. So let's get TPN. Now TPN will be equals to the inverse sine of 0.6844. So let's get the inverse sine of 0.6844. and that will be 43 point, approximately 43.2. So TPN is approximately 43.2. That is not the bearing, okay? That's not the bearing from P to N, because it says here that we should calculate the bearing on which the bird must fly in order to return directly from P to N. So in order to return directly from P to N, now we first consider the bearing from N to P. Okay, we know that to calculate the bearing from N to P, then we have to do 132 minus the value we just calculated now, which is 43.2. Yes, okay, 43.2. So what is 132 minus 43.2? That will be 88.8. Okay, we are not there yet. But what is now the bearing? What is now the bearing from? So the bearing from P to N. The bearing from P to N. That will now be, okay, so now this is 42 here. Okay, so the bearing of, so that will be, so we're going to have 180 plus 88.8, then plus so it's going to be, yeah, 180, since it's going to be, we have the bearing from P to N, from P to N. Okay, so that will be 180 plus 88.8, then plus 77, yeah, 77, because 180 minus 103, that will be 77, yeah. So 180 plus 88.8 plus 77, that will be 345.8. This is 345.8 degrees. So therefore, the bearing, because the bearing from directly, the bearing directly from P to N, from P to N, is equals to 345.8 degrees, because it says directly from P to N, and because I know that 180 minus 103, that's and that will be 77. So when added to that, now then it will now be added to 88.8, because we need to first calculate the bearing from N to P, because of the direction of the north from P to what, N. So, and that is what we have there as 88.8 degrees here. So that the value of the bearing from P to N becomes 345.8. And that's the answer to the question. The noblest pleasure is the joy of understanding. Bye bye.